gun does fire in spurts. If he shoots
The
you,
other ranger can't say
you're
leader
gonna
of a
hurt.
bunch because then it'll be a bunch of power bananas.
Everyone
Entirely different show.
hold tight for the next part of Power Rangers where we are all playing the Ape Rangers. There are 5 of them.
I'm just saying.
There are 5 of them. There's enough. Just look at the cast of Donkey Kong 64, and there's a Power Ranger crew right there.
But to touch upon last episode where everything was awesome, the 4 Rangers, Peter, Cal, Sarah, and Q,
Unconscious corpse.
Yep, went to rescue Sophie, who was stuck in the grid. They travelled to a planet far away from Earth, which they named Planet Bob. They successfully crossed a lake of acidic water, and with some strange events, they did locate a compass-like device that allowed them to
that's a hard
figure
sell.
out the location of the Blue Ranger in the grid.
That's a hard sell,
Activate
additional Michael.
the Master Arch and open it. For Sophie, it felt like a lot longer time had passed. She had been battling for her life against corrupted individuals who exploded into light once they had been defeated by energy damage. However, when she did escape the grid, running straight into Q and knocking them both flying in the process, she did bring several of them with her, starting another round of combat in which we learned that these corrupted individuals seemed only to be defeatable by energy damage, and any other attempts just seemed to put them down for a short period of time until they got back up once again. Towards the end of the fight, we had 2 of these corrupted individuals left. Cal drowning one in the lake of acid, and Peter trying to fight the other, but not having the best of days in terms of combat. However, from above, allies that they
I'd
had
like to point out,
requested...
he didn't do bad. He just didn't get a chance to hit anything.
He didn't do bad, he just didn't do well.
Yeah, he didn't do bad. He just didn't do good.
He didn't throw a single punch.
He didn't do bad, he just didn't do.
Yeah.
Full stop, he didn't do.
Precisely.
But from above, the allies that they had requested dropped down, quite literally, with Zordon dropping in to give Peter a hand, and Trini, the Yellow Omega Ranger, dropping in to give Cal a bit of assistance with her.
I suplexed the
hammer.
dinosaur into a hammer, sir.
Yep. There was some...
and I'm talking about it now because I didn't get to say it was my favorite Cal moment last time.
There was some assisted combat there going on. The Rangers did manage to get home after an exchange of information. And we found ourselves at the end of the episode sitting in different locations in the command center, which is where we are going to pick back up. What I'd just like to do is check in with each of you individually. And I'm going to go with Q first. It is not your first jaunt into space.
Oh, you but
It's your second successful trip. In fact, how is Q feeling having led a rescue mission?
So Q is relieved, hugely relieved, to have managed to have rescued Anne, and that physically she seemed okay.
who's Anne? I don't know who Anne.
And that nobody else got injured or otherwise harmed. So he's feeling immense relief after being very tense for a number of days.
Sarah, you've had to leave the planet for the first time. It's a bit of a strange experience. You've also had to deal with Cal
Yeah.
being stabbed. At least he's recovered.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I got better.
I got better. How long have we been back? Still this...
Only a few minutes.
Okay, literally minutes. All right, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the experience. She developed a taste for space guns. Those are fun. But priority one, other than making Kelsey happy, so that's priority one, dropping off explosives. Priority two is murder. Nobody stabs my Rangers.
It's not something you'd expect a Power Ranger to say, really. Priority two, murder.
Not heroic
Um,
at all.
we may have to address that at a later date. But yeah,
We might. I gotta find him first.
you do.
Cal is gonna go, I guess, to the medical ward to get checked up for a concussion or something. He was in a coma longer than he should have been in.
What was your time in that sort of comatose state like?
I feel like Infernia was yelling at me. I feel like she was really, really mad at me.
Trying to get you up and about?
The opposite, trying to keep me in a coma until I promised to not do that again. And it was a long negotiation period.
But did you make that promise?
I did make the promise to not stab myself again.
Very specific there.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He falls onto the knife.
I'm just gonna use a gun next time.
Oh my God, don't say that.
Bang! Ah!
He stabbed himself with a spoon. Why? Why?
Because I promised I wouldn't use the knife.
8 weeks' time. Why did he use a fish fork?
We really need to get Cal some sort of therapy.
No,
Guys,
We really
just
do.
throwing it out there.
Cal is
Um,
completely normal and there was nothing wrong with him.
We are all incredibly well adjusted.
Peter, you've had a wee bit of time to think this through. You've had a bit of time to think it over. Sorry. You kind of got read the riot act a little bit.
Indeed.
He didn't shout. He didn't get angry. But
Very disappointed.
Yeah, I was just
was
about to say,
very
it's not that
disappointed.
angry parent thing. It's that I'm very disappointed in you. And it's like,
Yeah.
but I did good.
And it's not
Well intended.
I
your
was
fault
helping.
that what you did could have disastrous repercussions.
But at the same time, as the proprietor of this technology, doesn't the responsibility fall on my shoulders if someone were to use it for nefarious purposes?
I would say
Say
100%.
probably.
Yeah. So yeah, he's kind of dealing with his Robert. Is it Robert Oppenheimer? Yeah.
Yep.
He's dealing with that syndrome at the moment. He's very happy because obviously they achieved their mission. They got Sophie back, but at the moment, the main thing in the front of his head is you've doomed us all. So yeah, he's kind of panicking to himself at the
You
moment.
specifically.
Sophie, you thought you'd spent quite a time in the grid, but having escaped, you now know it was only a couple of days. You don't feel physically exhausted. The grid kept you up and about, kept your injuries from getting any worse. In fact, it seemed to have sped your recovery up. But that must have been mentally exhausting.
I think after she's really got to stop running into Q. That's the thing. Like, I think after talking / having a meltdown in front of Q, that moment and hugging it out, she considers like, because she was on her way to her room, she considers trying to sleep, and then she just keeps walking. She just keeps walking past her bedroom and heads to the lab, in typical Sophie fashion, just work through the stress. And yeah, she's going to park herself in front of her console and try to fix a problem. Which at the forefront of her mind is the Peter Green Psycho Ranger connection. She has essentially, I wouldn't say lost interest, but she's putting all of the grid stuff aside because she's kind of over it for now, and she's
Not doing that again.
Once
not doing
bitten,
that.
twice
Wait,
shy.
not doing that again for a while. Okay, there's that's a we will revisit that later. But
We
I don't know
do
about you,
have
but I'm
a
all
navigational
thumbed out.
device now. Like, to be
okay,
fair.
but like again, it's a we will revisit that later. And she has kind of decided she's going to work until her brain, until her body, I guess, catches up with how tired she actually is. Also, it's Sunday, correct?
It is Sunday, correct.
At some point, she will send a message to the entire group that says Sunday dinner ? And then that's it. She's just gonna try to pretend like nothing is wrong and everything is wrong in her brain.
You all get the message. What do you respond? What do you think?
Trying to gauge everyone's response, you see.
We're all just going poker face, poker face. Poker face.
Doesn't matter what your face does. What matters is the text message you send to Sophie, because she is asking about it.
And send.
Just... Oh, as a point of,
I'll be.
did she get anything back from her family or from Dana in Mariner Bay? I know she just sent the messages like a few minutes ago, but she's also checking for those messages, checking in with her
She
family.
hasn't yet. There is a good reason, but she will do soon. TM.
Okay. Damn it, Matthew. Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to do.
So, Peter.
I mean, I'll text back.
No, I was just about to say.
Sorry, I was just going to prompt everybody. But go on. Sorry, Michael, Sarah.
Michael Sarah.
You shoot back. What time?
Scott Pilgrim?
Right. You found me at.
Is it a group message?
It's a group message. It's for
So
everybody.
it pings up then. Just what
Like-
time?
Peter will be like, yeah, if everyone's up for it.
Yeah, and then Sophie just says, "We all got to eat, right?" And then there's an emoji of like, I don't know, a drumstick, chicken drumstick or whatever, some sort of food emoji.
Food's great, but when?
Matthew, what time is it? I know you said afternoon last session. What time is
I
it?
believe it was just gone 4 o'clock when you got back.
Cal will be cleared to work in the kitchen from a general well-being standpoint.
I'm not sure the command center's got much food and like health and safety rules going on. I don't think they've had an OSHA check in a while.
I mean, look, if Alpha says don't cook, you were just stabbed, then he's not gonna cook. But
Alpha thinks
Yeah,
you're
okay.
fine.
Cal is making Milanesa steak.
Sounds good. Sounds good. A fearless leader.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out. I'm in an absolute quandary over yes or no. And I've rolled for it, and that's still not helped me. Yeah,
Do
why
I go
not?
home and talk to my parents, or do I avoid that?
Well, they're not at home. I know that they're in the Marina Bay base, so I have the house to myself. Like, party time.
Q throws a party.
As you send that message, Q, yeah, why not? You do get a notification on your phone. It just pops down. It's from your dad, and it just says, "So, ... How was space?" with a question mark and a rocket ship.
This
I
man's
was
using
waiting for there to
emoji
be
in
a
a
so ...
formal audit.
so I could just reply with a needle pulling thread.
I'm not giving you that opportunity.
No, that's fine. It'll just say spacious.
So, for the record, chat, I believe I have spoken to everybody in this group other than Jay, and said that if his response was spacious, I am going to throw something at him.
Let's go.
I
I
heard
mean, how good is your throwing
throw a
arm? Because I'm a
disappointed father
fair
at it.
distance
Let's
from
do it.
you.
It might take some tries.
And besides, is it not the Spectrum TTRPG motto is that we commit to the bit?
I just knew. Yeah. You get a response back, and it says spacious with a question mark. Then lol. That message comes through, and a few seconds later, another message comes through, and it just says, "Your mum and I are really proud of you, but we do need to talk."
Q not thrilled with the use of but, which tends to nullify what went in the first part of the sentence, grammatically speaking.
And we do need to talk.
Yeah. Or just, we're really proud of you, full stop, or semicolon. That's also a good juncture because they could stop, but they're continuing. Correcting my dad's grammar as we go. Q will just reply, okay, comma, when, question mark.
Mum's coming back to Angel Grove tomorrow to start getting ready. You know how she gets around the festival. Maybe we can meet up after college.
Sure, comma, why not?
So in 3 years.
Yeah. Didn't say when. I might never graduate, so I never have to have the conversation.
When you're done with college.
Just become Van Wilder.
That's an approach. Sunday dinner with Cal's wonderful cooking. Apparently, Peter is not ordering out tonight.
No.
He would have
Flashing
gone
that-
shopping for the bits, though.
Flashing those dollar bills.
making it rain.
Yeah, if you could go to Costco and pick up my ingredients.
Everything's stocked up in bulk in the command center.
Damn right.
Alpha is strangely on the edges of the group, more so than usual. It's very much like he's trying to give you space and time just to sort of reconnect, let you guys be you, but also just hovering in case there's anything you need from him.
I think in Sophie's quest to feel normal, like nothing's happened, she's gonna try to do that obnoxious things like, come on, Alpha, come join us, and it's like typical Sophie behavior, but like turned up a little extra, like she's overcompensating for something. He's like, come on, you've never been shy before. Come on, come hang out.
Yeah, take a seat.
I was going to say Pete turns to offer him food, and then I remembered he's a robot.
Ranger Cow, do you have a plate of this delicious bovine for me?
Yes. Hands him a plate of Milanese.
I would like mine well done.
Yep. That is how it
Are
comes.
you eating now?
We gave him
He
a mouth.
just holds it up and smells it. He looks
gave
like
him a
at least
nose.
he's smelling it without a nose, and then places it back down in front of him. He has hands. He seems to be enjoying the act of holding a knife and fork.
Just
And
having
he
fingers is great.
is trying currently to cut the steak, which is a little bit more difficult than he thinks it should be.
Sarah's phone comes up over the table and is recording this.
What do you plan to do
Why
with
would
that,
you be
Sarah?
recording?
Adorable. Oh, what?
What do you plan to do
Memories.
with that footage?
In case we ever need it for an Alpha 6
I don't know.
montage.
Blackmail Alpha at some point. I don't know.
You're terrible.
Exactly. Look how adorable this is. But
Alpha looks
What
over
happened?
at Sarah and is just, why would the color of my mail be important, Sarah?
oh boy,
And Pete just pats Alpha on the dome.
we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, Sophie.
Yeah.
What happened?
So I did a tiny experiment just to start learning more about my teleporting abilities. And, nothing happened to me at the
Yeah, we
time.
knew that.
Nothing happened to me at the time. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
I just put it aside. And then literally 2 days later, I don't know. I teleported and ended up somewhere else. It was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
Look, if something, I feel
Where?
like if it was something I did, it would have been an instant thing. Like, it doesn't make sense for me to have screwed up and then suffered the consequences 2 days later. I feel like
Okay.
it doesn't make
All right,
sense.
darling. No one's blaming you. There's no blame here. You just want to know what happened. There's no way that you would be dumb enough to teleport to wherever you went in the middle of a fight. We know that. There's no blame. We're just trying to figure out what happened.
I'll tell you what happened. The stupid blue emissary was trying to teach me a lesson and left me stranded in the grid.
Yeah, from what Q said, Blue Emissary wasn't particularly helpful.
Yeah. Interesting. All right.
Just
What kind of lesson? Where did they send you?
Matt, can I get a clarification from you?
Yep.
So, I'm trying to remember if I was thrown into the dark timeline as part of the lesson, or if it was I'm gonna yeet you into the grid as a lesson. Like, I feel like I should know what this was. I think it was, I'm gonna throw you into the dark timeline to teach you a lesson and then pull you back, right?
What was the lesson?
I don't know
Throwing
what the
you
lesson.
into the dark timeline to see how different things could be was part of the lesson. Getting you stuck in the grid was, at least as the blue emissary, I can't say emissary, as the blue emissary said, a mistake. Although a mistake that got the team new skills to a different planet. Perhaps a different lesson. Lose Wiley.
They get punched.
I wasn't entirely sure where or when I was sent. I was, I guess, sent to a different timeline, a different version of the exact same day. But I really don't know how to explain it, but things were different. They were really bad. I think the lesson has to do with the consequences of your choices. And I learned of a place, a time where different choices were made and a lot of bad things happened.
Okay.
I don't know if that place exists in parallel to us, where it is in the grid, or anything like that, but I'm just glad to be back here. And
Blue. Well, yeah, we're glad you're back. If I'm understanding what you're saying, the blue emissary sent you to an alternate reality?
Yep.
To teach you consequences?
Something like that. I don't know. I kind of was struggling to get the point. I was tired and stranded and upset.
No, fair. Yeah, I mean, were we there?
She turns to Peter and she says, "You remember that one time we were talking about my dream? You know, I mentioned that I had a dream about what it would be like to be part of Lightspeed."
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, well, I got to find out for myself, and it was pretty much a nightmare. And then she turns back to Sarah. She says, "Yeah, you were there." And she kind of averts Sarah's gaze and starts poking at her food.
Well, the way you said that has me concerned for whatever that version of me's been going through. All right.
Well, I'm hoping
So it sounds like
that's not going to be a problem. That will just be a very distant, faraway problem, not our problem.
yeah, yeah, alternate. Yeah, no, for sure.
And she just kind of
I've read a book or
offhanded
two.
it.
I've seen a movie. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And she kind of
I was trying to figure out what the
offhandedly,
lesson like.
it doesn't matter. I'm over it with the blue emissary. I don't care about
Yeah.
powerful extra dimensional beings or aliens or whatever. I'm just gonna live my life and do my best, because
No,
that's all
absolutely.
we can really
But
do.
they put you there, and then left you in the grid for? Because you said subjectively for you said it was months. Why did they not bring you home?
It felt like a long
when
time.
they were done. Yeah, but
I can't figure out
if they put you there, why couldn't they put you back here?
I don't know. I couldn't tell if the emissary was just objectively terrible at being an all-powerful extra-dimensional being, or if they have made their own mistakes. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Maybe it's like when you jump over a wall. It's like from one side it looks really straightforward, and so you hop over no problem. And then suddenly when you turn around and you try to get back, it's 4 foot over one way and like 12 foot back up the other.
It's entirely possible. Yeah.
You think an all-powerful, all-knowing space being would be able to
I think we might be
that.
giving them more credit than perhaps they're due.
Than they deserve, maybe.
I mean, Pete, what was
they deserve a punch.
Pete hasn't actually met Green properly, has he? He's seen like a flash of him or her.
They spoke to you, but didn't hang around long enough for you to speak back.
So generally unhelpful then.
Kind of anti-social, Q points around the table. Antisocial, anti-useful. Well, their mind was not bad, actually. Bit enigmatic. Disappeared whilst I was asking them a question, which was kind of rude. But interesting.
It just seems rude to strand you in the grid like that. I'm being polite when I say rude.
Well, I mean, all of that aside, as far as the growing list of problems that we have as a team, I would like to submit that we focus on a specific problem based on what I have experienced. And she turns to Peter to look at him quickly before she kind of addresses the entire group and says, I think what we should focus on is severing Peter's connection to the Green Psycho Ranger.
Severing Pete's connection to the grid because he can't be trusted.
Hey.
I mean, that's probably not a terrible idea. Yeah.
Sure. Down.
Did your
kind of
John give you any insight into doing that?
Like, why
No.
specifically that?
I just...
Did you see something over there that makes this a priority?
She looks...
It's a problem we have. May as well put them in an ordered list of which one we're going to get out of the way first.
Yeah, we have so many problems. It's reach into a bag and pick a problem. Why this one?
Insight check Sophie while she's talking through this.
Go ahead.
I'm not necessarily looking for true or false, obviously, because I
no.
When she says that, it's just trying to get a read on how uncomfortable she is and stuff. So it's alertness, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would also like to.
I too am going to do this.
I'm going to fully come to the wrong conclusion that this is just one of the problems, and because it concerns Peter, that's why she's in it. Yep.
Yeah, I only rolled a 14.
It's her boyfriend, and she's worried about him. That's all there is, clearly.
17.
You're not allowed to insight Sophie.
Wait, did you get it? 17. I heard a 17.
15 and 2.
Nice.
Boyfriend powers activate.
Jam you straight.
Boyfriend power. The boyfriend power is not limited to straights.
This is not the first time this has happened.
Get a boyfriend.
Get a boyfriend to call you on your bullshit.
And you will experience boyfriend power.
Space boyfriend when?
Poor Kyle. The GM's already written him off.
Kyle's dead. Kyle's dead, dude. We don't talk about Kyle.
Yeah, no, it definitely feeds beyond girlfriend concern into maybe some sort of fear.
Pete will not mention anything in front of the rest of the group for now. He'll just kind of notice that she's not quite saying everything, but he'll keep it for later.
His Sophie dar is bigging.
My Sophie
It
senses
only
alarm.
literally works with Sophie.
So,
My Peter
How-
tingle.
how do we go about
Nah.
No.
Why?
would just defeating the green Psycho Ranger be enough, or is there something else we would have to do to get that connection to?
Well,
I mean, I did try and look into the connection before, but I couldn't really. The levels were like green energy was fluctuating a little bit higher than it was before, but
Matt,
yeah,
just
there
to
was
clarify,
no sign of anything else.
Just to clarify, did I in my research figure out that it had to do with his weapon, his power weapon? Like,
So
Didn't Pete realize?
here's the fun part, and here's an interesting thing for anybody who may remember. I have no. I'm going to use the wall.
Great. I'm so glad you're using the wall to write something that I won't be able to make out.
Can we see that?
yeah,
says
you're
Pete.
not.
Yeah.
Pete,
That's
Oh,
okay,
you're
sir.
doing. Are you doing the pyramid chart from last
Psycho.
time?
Sword.
I just have to trust that is what you're
Nice.
writing.
Grid.
You
Yeah.
could be writing
Yeah.
anything.
Are they?
He's writing butt, fart, willy, poop.
Pete and Psycho are connected by the
Via
sword.
the knife that is connected to the grid.
The grid is
The
connected
knife is
to
connected
the
to the
knife,
grid.
and the knife is
Yeah.
connected by the grid to the Psycho Ranger.
All right, we
We-
blow up the grid.
Oh,
Everyone in the
nice.
Oh, do I know what Pete has to do to himself?
Wait a minute. What? Okay. Wait. Okay. So I know that, right? I know that, right?
Ah.
You do know that.
Okay. And I destroy the weapon, destroy the
We
connection.
all know that.
And a more immediate
destroy
solution
the-
to that problem
Or
would be
MGD.
to MGDP. Sever his connection to the grid means that he's no longer
Yeah.
connected to the knife or the Psycho Ranger. But the only problem with that is that it's only a temporary fix, so we'd need to permanently remove him from the green coin for now to.
No. If it's something being discussed out loud, Sophie will say, no, we destroy the knife. We sever the connection. That's how we're going to do it.
All
The
right,
only
so
problem with that is
beat up
we
the
don't
green
know where
Psycho
the knife
Ranger.
is.
Well,
When
I
Pete
mean,
had his vision of the Psycho Green, did I see him with the dagger?
yeah, I
You did not see him with the dagger.
It's the fact I
But-
touched the dagger, sent energy from the dagger
Go
into
ahead.
the grid that charged him.
And anybody and everybody, make me a technology.
Oh,
No.
Grid tech?
Grid tech
Grid tech?
roll. The
what
difficulty
I would like-
of which
I need to remember all of my
is
options.
25.
Can I use,
I'm
can I
not
use
gonna
an
roll.
idea point to give myself
No.
an upshift?
Yes. And yes.
Oh, come on.
Couldn't even do that with my science skill.
Oh, I
Not
rolled a
even with the lab
15.
coat.
No, the lab coat. At maximum power, the lab coat would drop me one shy of that DC.
I rolled a 15.
I'm outraged. The lab coat needs to provide more upshifts. We'll work on it.
You're the
Doesn't the lab
GM. If
coat
my
tell-
lab coat gives me upshifts, that's on you to tell me.
I said we'll work on it. We'll collab.
All right. I can't wait for my
We'll work
stupid bit to actually do things in game.
We'll collab.
I now want Peter to have some sort of special sense that we can just call the Peter Tingle throughout.
No, please no.
All right, I rolled
No!
a 21, but I have abilities. Let me double check something quickly. Does anything
I
allow
have
me to...
abilities.
I have things that I can do that I can't remember off the top of my head.
I am not powerless. I have abilities.
Sorry, they are new abilities, so I'm trying to remember if it does it. How was this thing? No, that doesn't allow me to re-roll. No, I don't have anything that will allow me to re-roll or do anything, do I?
That's a bummer.
That is a bummer. I think I screwed the pooch on that one, dear boy.
I think Sophie just becomes adamant about she just becomes irrationally adamant about not shooting Peter because that's a thing. She didn't like doing it before, and she's going to refuse to do it.
So find Psycho Green, beat up Psycho Green,
it's not
break
a
Psycho
terrible-
Green's weapon.
It's temporary, and if it would, I mean, there's no guarantee it would permanently disrupt the connection, but there's no
Actually,
guarantee it wouldn't.
I'm pretty sure there is a
either.
permanent guarantee that it wouldn't disrupt the connection because we've already shot Pete
Yeah,
with
we've
the
tested
MGD
it.
once.
We know it doesn't sever it permanently.
Well, then, but we that was after
Long
you.
after.
Yeah, that was what would have been after you touched.
Long
the thing,
after
wasn't it? All right.
that comic book shop got destroyed
All right,
or ransacked.
I understand how time works. It's fine. We're not traveling through space or anything. We haven't been waiting yet. Okay, time is time. Okay. All
You good?
right.
Are you okay?
Can we always never your connection to Psycho Green, can we detect that?
I mean, I couldn't before, but that was before I knew he was active. Obviously, kind of have a little bit of confirmation that he's potentially up and walking around, so maybe I would just track him now. And
Alpha, can we track the Psycho Rangers?
Well, just
Hello.
it's not so much the Psycho I'm thinking, because if he doesn't have his sword. What's what we need to find? If we can figure out the energy signature of the Psycho or the sword, then we can track that and find the sword.
Alpha?
Apologies.
Yeah.
At the moment, unfortunately, they're not able to track anything on the moon. So presumably, he is on the moon, and they can't track him,
Okay.
or
he's not on the moon.
Yeah.
not on the moon, and they can't track him.
Fine.
Can we specifically track psycho energy though?
But can we detect any psycho energy coming from Pete and use that
during your
to,
time in
like,
space, Jay?
find other source of
When you
psycho energy? Who's Jay?
oh no, I'm speaking above table. When Q was in space, would his visor have been on at all when he fought the Psycho
the whole
Rangers?
battle, yeah.
I could maybe use something from that to extrapolate some data and see if we can pair that.
Problem is that I don't know if we gather full sensor data at all times.
Hmm.
And it was pre me having SSD in the back of my helmet.
I like that you refer to it as an SSD.
I couldn't think of the right term, and that was there, so I was like, go with it.
every helmet is equipped with a 3 terabyte SSD.
3 terabyte doesn't sound like enough for the Power Rangers. Although it's better than.
I mean, as long as you're combing the footage and deleting.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, Q's helmet
Curating.
cranial data store was kind of logs and updates specifically for like the remote teams. Well, Zordon.
And then I think once that whole topic of discussion is kind of comes to its natural completion, it was like,
You don't know what to do.
that's pretty much all I had in mind to share tonight. Probably all I have the energy to share right now. And then she pulls something out of her pocket. Okay. It's a like a flash drive sort of thing. Slides it over to Peter and says, "Speaking of things I'm sharing, here is all of the work I've done on the morphing grid so far. Hang on to this for a while, and if I ask for it, don't give it to me."
That might be smart. Cool. Yeah, I'll keep hold of it for now. Tuck it away.
Thanks.
You'll kind of like linger his hand though, but just kind of give you a look like we'll talk later.
She nods very like briefly in like a subtle acknowledgement before she pulls her hand away.
With presumably the meal over.
Yeah, Sophie does a very not Sophie thing at the end of the meal, and she says, "Guys, I think I'm gonna call it early." And
you get some rest.
She retreats to her room.
When she's out of earshot, I don't think she's okay. I can't tell why. I don't know other than the obvious, but I don't.
Q looks at Tara and just goes,
"Pinpoint anything."
Really?
Thanks. Look, I'm trying to. Hard to put this into words. All right, I just have.
Yeah, there's something she's not telling us, and either she'll be ready and she'll tell us, or it'll build up and then she'll tell us when it just erupts like a volcano.
I think you broke Matt.
Yeah.
And that whole conversation is just going straight over Pete's head.
But on that, Peter, I think this is something
gently
you need to work on. Be there when
but
you're ready to talk.
Don't
gently,
pick at it like a
absolutely
scab,
gently, but
that's no.
Yeah, I'll do.
You remember what happened with your knuckles back in 7th grade? Is that a number? Is that right? I did American high school system. Does it show?
What was the number?
Back in F grade, yeah.
That works. Oh yeah. All right. Just something happened wherever the hell she is. And I don't. Also, I'm not the only one who wants to beat the crap out of the blue emissary, right? Please tell me that.
Well,
I could beat the crap out of an emissary. I'm down.
Q just looks at Cal and goes, "No."
Thank you, Cal. I appreciate you, Cal.
High fives across the table.
Hold that energy. I think we have enough enemies and let's maybe not upset the emissaries. I mean, I concur. I was underwhelmed with. Yeah.
I mean, they
no,
kidnapped.
They didn't kidnap Sophie. I don't know why everybody is so hung up on kidnapping. I mean, abducting, quite possibly.
I mean, they are. Okay, sure. Abducted Sophie, fine. But Sophie wasn't exactly willing to go wherever the hell she went.
Momentary mandatory vacation.
Mandatory learning. Is that what you're saying it is? It was her annual cybersecurity training.
Yes.
Booted her into some alternate reality and then booted her into the grid and left her there.
I got the impression that it wasn't that the emissary just left her there. It's that trying to get Sophie out was not as straightforward as trying to get Sophie in. And we don't know if that's a grid thing. We don't know if that's an emissary thing. We don't know if it's a Sophie thing or maybe all of the above.
Could have been something to do with the reason they couldn't get her out was due to the tests that we were doing with her powers. So
possibly. It could be that some of the experimentation polarized her gridrons in the wrong direction or some science shit like that. Q looks at Pete looking for some kind of help.
Yeah, Pete just kind of goes, yeah, something like that. But it's highly possible that whatever it was just kind of overloaded the amount of blue energy that was therefore contained and how much the emissary could move in one go.
Maybe.
Putting her in may have potentially drained the emissary.
I don't know.
Who knows what those bloody things are thinking.
But I mean, if it was meant to teach Sophie something, I certainly think it taught the emissary something.
Don't abduct rangers?
Yeah, don't wang your rangers halfway across reality on a whim.
Yeah, let's hope.
Let's make a pact. The next person that meets their emissary will teach them the lesson about consent.
We will introduce them to Henry Crabgrass, yes.
And if they don't get the memo, then we'll slap them about. Deal?
I can work with that. All right. And something she saw has her fixated on the psycho, which makes me concerned about you and what she saw with you over there, Peter, or the version of you over there to make her fixated.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well. But maybe nothing.
Realities hurt my brain.
Maybe something real bad. We don't know yet, but we'll start looking into it.
We don't. She's being very mum about telling us what she saw.
Yeah, I'll give her a few minutes to decompress a little bit. I'll go talk to her.
If it's something that happened to you, yeah, we need to try to figure out what it was. It happened to that version of you. It could happen to this version of you.
He just kind of looks a little bit.
We need to know that.
I have enough to think about. Don't worry me with this too.
You're welcome. All right. Well, this has been an enlightening meal. Delicious as always, though, Cal.
So what I do?
Compliments to the wife.
I'm gonna go see a girl about explosives.
About
what? See you all later.
Oh, explosion!
Don't do anything.
Oh.
Don't do anything Q wouldn't do.
No, because Q wouldn't make out with my girlfriend. So bye-bye.
Q stands up and goes, well, on that remarkably uncomfortable note, I need to go and get the house ready for the imminent rearrival of my parents.
And I have to go make sure I still have a job.
I mean, may the odds be ever in your favor, and Pete, be gentle. And then Q teleports home.
And Cal will teleport to his garage. Wherever I put my bike.
The storage unit that he rents.
Yep.
Just near Bert's, just in case.
Well.
Levers up on the hooks. Bike. No.
Could I roll some sort of alertness check to see if the bike is in the exact same position in which I left
That's
it?
literally what I was about to ask you for. I was trying
What can I
to
say? It's a
sort
gift.
of backtrack on myself, but please roll me an alertness check.
Well, let's see what my skill dice is going to be for this. It's a 1. Cool. So,
Did somebody steal the mashed riders?
yeah, that's an 11.
When you parked your bike, you were in a little bit of a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Things weren't exactly going your way.
I needed to stab
Although-
myself really fast.
You had done remarkably well in taking down that bug monster. Just that hitting that ramp at the right angle and just smack, taking it down to the ground.
There was also the facet of running my electricity through the bike,
Exactly.
which you would have messed something up, but it didn't. So
Right?
time
And
to look into that.
you distinctly remember, though, there being like a burn mark on the left side of the
chassis?
Just underneath the left indicator.
And
Probably
it's not there
would have
anymore?
exploded the light bulb. At least
in the
burned it
headlamp?
out.
Mhm.
No. There is not a smudge in sight.
It's gonna check the door. Hasn't been opened.
Nope.
No replicas of my key have been made. I'm going to look at this bike. And I'm gonna like I'm just gonna run like a current through it, I guess.
You're not certain because, I mean, we all have this habit of humanizing things. You know, it's a thing we do.
Anthropomorphizing.
Anthropomorphizing. But did your bike just shiver?
Did you go, ooh, again?
Like,
more, daddy.
All right. In line with the two things that were just said. If one finger wasn't enough, here's the whole hand and a
Just the tip.
full
we are
palm
going to get
on
into
bike.
so much trouble.
Full palm on bike electricity.
You
fix
run
the
a
motorcycle?
stronger current through the bike, and as you do, the bike for sure definitely reacts to the electricity running through it.
A hand pops
And
out.
as it does, that
Take me to dinner first.
sort of tremor, that shiver, just amps up, and you hear before you see this grinding noise as the bike happens to just change shape, to just convert.
We do not use that terminology here.
And before your eyes is a roughly 7-foot tall humanoid robot. The backs of its legs have wheels sticking out of them. One of its arms has an exhaust pipe sticking out at the elbow. Its face has an armored plate just dropped down in front of it like a knight's helmet. It doesn't have any weapons in its hands, but its arms are held at like a boxer's ready position, and it's dropped down to its knees a little bit, sort of in a ready stance, like it's about to start hopping.
How on earth were you in the discount pile?
The language it responds with is nothing from Earth.
Wonderful.
That rude.
A series of beeps and tones that make no sense whatsoever.
Uh-huh. Oh boy.
And then it surges forward. One
And
hand
we're fighting.
grasping for your sort of shirt.
Can I duck and counter? I'm now fist fighting a robot.
What is your evasion?
Not morphed, so 16.
There is
16?
Actually, if I'm channeling electricity, 17, which
17.
I am. I spent the PowerPoint. I may as well continue to use it.
If only you had like a pony friend.
You could speak Cybertronian.
I got a 7. So as it
Let's
surges
go!
forwards, sluggish still, having just awakened, it almost trips over its own feet in an attempt to grasp at you. You duck
Easy,
underneath
sunshine.
it. What do you do?
What did you just say to me?
Go on, lick it.
You gotta lick it.
Lick it.
We have to remember.
You have to. You
that
always
Licking
lick
is a free
Transformer.
I mean, it
It's a
is.
free action. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lick the Transformer. God, I'm all right. Now, normally when someone tries to attack me, I get violent with it, but up until a certain point, this was the bike that I used and trusted. I'm not gonna just start kicking the shit out of my own bike. Like, hey, stop that, cut that out. How do I'm gonna try, I guess, mime to it to like, hey, friendly, easy.
You make me a persuasion or intimidation
Christ.
check. Your choice.
Yeah. Persuasion for sure, 100%, absolutely.
Transformer handling check.
Transformer
There you go.
handling. 17 persuasion.
As it turns, one arm swings wide.
Ugh.
The other, the one with the exhaust pipe running down its elbow, so the sort of back of the exhaust where things would come out of, fumes would come out of, is at the back of the elbow. Pulls back, and as it does, a sword of shimmering purple energy just appears out of nowhere.
That's really cool.
However, as it sees you, it stops. It
Friendly?
kneels, sort of one leg down, to kind of get a little bit closer towards you. The
And it licks
faceplate
you.
whirls upwards,
And it licks me.
and you see on its chest plate a symbol, purple in color,
Specific.
roughly sort of face shaped. It's still doesn't seem to understand your language, but it does seem to look at you with less concern. It seems to be taking your peaceful attempts at negotiation as more of a not quite subjugation, but that sort of angle.
Difference.
You know, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cal's not fighting back. He must be willing to be my humanoid slave on this planet.
I'm gonna have to teach this thing English, and I'm pissed about that.
We will.
Do our morph
It will
forms
teach
have
me about
translators in them?
this place, and things will be fine. I will find my commander. Megatron shall know these humans are weak, and we can take them over. Of course, Cal doesn't understand.
Yeah, no. The only
Cybertronian,
thing going through
So-
Cal's head is I have to teach this thing English now, and I'm mad about that.
Dang it.
Yeah,
But you know it doesn't
The
like
sword.
electricity.
All right, I immediately purchase a $50 subscription to the Rosetta Stone.
This is Duolingo.
the
Nah, Duolingo's not
Cybertronian
fast
to
enough.
English program.
Yeah.
Exact base. I'm like,
English for
all right, I'm gonna
dummies.
Rosetta Stone you how to speak English, and this is gonna take so long.
He plunges the sword into the storage container's floor. It seems to be more of a
Thank God I don't have a deposit on this thing.
seems to be more of a intimidation factor than anything else, because only a second after he plunges it into the floor, he just makes it disappear as easily as he made it appear. He easily could have just banished it before
Mhm.
doing the whole
Yeah, but now
thing.
he's caused property damage.
Yep. Decepticon 200%
Saw that
confirmed at
presentation.
this point.
Fantastic.
And with that,
yeah, I
noted,
guess- Yeah, for the foreseeable future, if you ever wonder what Cal is doing when he's not in scene, he's teaching this thing how to speak English.
and it's teaching Cal how to speak Cybertronian.
Is it? That's awesome. I'll take that.
It's an interesting note. We're going to go with that.
I'll take
I
that
think
for
it's
free.
amusing.
Let's go.
With that noted, Q,
Yes.
how bad's the house?
Oh no, the house is in perfect order.
I expected nothing less.
Yeah, from being brought up on kind of his martial arts regimen and taking things very to heart, that you do things in a certain way, in a practiced and mindful way. Even without his parents there, the house is just fine. He's just making sure that there's fresh bedding on his parents' bed, and that there's some flowers in the kitchen, and that things are just, nice.
How does he feel about parents coming back to Angel Grove?
Apprehensive. He, that feeling when you have to have a conversation with your parents about something like, oh, I had a party that you told me not to have and we broke that vase. Or it's that kind of feeling, that impending doomy feeling. And he's rehearsing all sorts of scenarios in his head of things that might be said or might not be. But the thing that has thrown him the most, was his dad saying he was proud of him on text, because he's never had that kind of affirmation from his father.
Things about to get awkward.
Welcome to the Awkward Rangers.
Yep. We're about to hit you guys in the feels.
You've
Yeah.
always been awkward. I don't know where you've been.
Sarah, by the time you get to the Lightspeed base, they seem to have figured out what is food and what is explosives. Mostly by the sounds of it, because Kelsey took a sample of each outside about
Tried to blow them both up.
200 feet away and tried detonating each of them to see which made the biggest boom. It was a
Perhaps that the soup
close,
made any boom.
very close matter.
Wait, even the food exploded?
Even the food exploded, which has caused
Food
some
exploded.
concern.
Hey,
But the fact that this food is specifically for Playdoyus Pete has put some individuals,
Less on edge.
some concern. Sort of, everybody's kind of calmed down a little bit.
different
And as long as
digestion.
none of the humans eat it, they're all kind of thinking it'll be okay.
Thank you for listening to seasoning.
Oh,
real
don't let
people.
Pete know. For God's sake.
Kelsey, on the other hand, has decided this food has to be tried. And in fact,
Teeth would very
has
much
2
agree.
bowls of it when Sarah appears. She has passed this information on,
Oh,
but she does
Yeah.
have that
well.
Don't hug her too hard.
lovely smile on her face, that daring,
All
come on, we're going to do it. Let's do it.
Just in time for second
Right.
dinner, I guess. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously. Cheers.
Roll me
I eat the boom soup.
a brawn check.
Roll for instant diarrhea.
Explosive diarrhea. Thank you.
What check? Sorry.
Brawn.
That's Jay. He's
On?
sterile
Oh
weak.
God. Okay, here we go. This is gonna go real well. Yeah.
That's
how
a
about
number
that
2,
too?
of course.
That is terrible.
I
that
rolled a
actually
number 2 on
happen?
the diarrhea check.
It did.
Sarah. Michael, did you see? I think you've got a re-roll.
There
If you
is
wanted to re-roll
a
one of
story
those.
point.
I think somebody gave me an
I think
upshift
I gave-
earlier, but it was skill
I
skill
gave you a
die
skill
reroll.
die
I think,
re-roll,
but
but you have no skill
no
in eating.
skill
Yeah.
die on. Yeah, I got
Kelsey-
on, baby.
who got a 20 on her D20, and a 1
Jeez.
on her D2, seems to love it. Sarah, it's spicy would be an understatement. It tastes like fire. And I don't mean that it tastes hot. I mean, like, you've smelt fire before. You've felt
you
the
put fire in your
warmth of
mouth.
fire.
Yeah.
It's like somebody condensed everything about fire. The heat, the smell, the way it kind of sucks the oxygen out of you. Everything about it into a foodstuff. And it kind of hurts.
If this were an animated series, I
Like
think
the
smoke
face would
coming
like
out of her
blanch.
ears.
It would just be like big eyes and a big mouth and red. And...
Steam coming out of your ears. that's doing.
Ow. Ow.
Kelsey
the
sort of
rest of mine?
surreptitiously takes yours and finishes it off. It's like, do you not? This is the best food I've. Where did you get this from?
No. No.
What do you
Space.
mean no? Space? Space? Oh, I'm going to space. Are you okay?
Okay. No. Burning.
Really? I mean, it's a little warming in the tummy, but in a nice way. It's like being home and being around a fire.
Maybe I'm allergic.
Oh, maybe. Maybe we shouldn't be eating space food without some sort of. Nah. I'm sure the doc has checked it over. Maybe we should, just in case, take you to see the doc.
Maybe, yeah.
And concerned girlfriend
Carry me.
that
I'd
she
be fine.
is.
goes limp, like carry me.
Kelsey sort of lifts you over one
Sliding down the
shoulder
flight of stairs.
and just carries you to see.
Fireman
doctor.
carry?
Yep. Hey,
I
she's
mean,
been
it-
trained
it's
to
nice, I
be
guess.
part of Lightspeed Rescue. Of course, she's
Yeah,
going to
The
fireman
rescue
carry you.
ranger.
Yeah. Peter, you've
Hello
been
there.
told to be gentle. You've been warned against picking at scabs.
Indeed.
Now for the pick.
Yes, I'll ask Peter to try and do this in a good way. Indeed.
How's this going to go?
I have a
Indeed.
question.
Yep.
How long does Peter wait to go
Um,
talk to Sophie? It
yeah.
is very important. It's a very important question.
Well, once everyone started dispersing while all of this has been going on, he would have come straight in.
So you come across Sophie as she has taken the whiteboard off the wall in her room and is starting to write on it. And she's just like hyper focused on putting stuff down on this board. And she's writing when you come in.
I would say he'd knock on the door, but there isn't one. Just kind of, yeah. How do you like? Whomp, whomp, whomp.
Sophie in her mind, like she does the thing that opens the door, but she's still working on something. And
I have a key, but for people like
yeah, when she opens the door, she says, "Come in. I'm just working out a timeline."
Hey, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Right, let me. This is the part of the things that I don't do well with. So yeah, people come in the room. Hey, babe. Sorry, I've been a little bit distant since we got all the craziness on Bob. It's been a bit of a crazy one with you disappearing and then getting you back, and then Grid Demons, and then Zordon. God damn it, Zordon. Yeah, sorry, I've been a bit distant. It's future problems is fine. Like, are you okay? Like, what are you doing with it? Like, and at the moment, Pete's just trying to kind of focus on what he's trying to say, but at the same time just jumbling it all up. He's like, sorry, what you need to rest. What are you working on? This can wait. Like, sit down and
Actually, I can't rest. I've been trying for the last 3 days to rest, and my brain just won't turn off. I mean, eventually my body's going to catch up with everything and I'm just going to pass out. But for now, I'm just going to go until I can't go anymore. And the whiteboard has 2 columns, and it basically explains the outline of various events since September. Like, oh, this is when the command center blew up, and this is all the stuff that happens. On the left side of it, those are events that Peter would recognize. On the right side, kind of parallel, there's a deviation. This is when the command center exploded, disappearance of the Rangers, all of that stuff essentially outlined on the other side of it. So essentially it's a side by side of the 2 different timelines, and she's writing it down from memory, essentially, of what she's been told of the events. So that is what he is looking at when he kind of tries to look at what she's doing. She's not really hiding it. She's just trying to get all of her thoughts written out.
is she sitting or standing, or?
She is, I'm going to say she's standing at the wall where this whiteboard is displayed. And she's kind of mumbling to herself, like, okay, so the Thunder Rangers, the blue and black Thunder Rangers disappeared on this day. Okay.
As she's like mumbling, people come up and like just kind of put his arms around her and just be like, just take a breath, take a second. What is all this?
It's the timeline deviation that I experienced. And then she points at the events of September and says, when the command center exploded, you guys, the blue and black Rangers disappeared, and you guys I never became the Blue Ranger. You never met Sarah. And then the Green Psycho Ranger started taking everyone out. But this, in the timeline, was in September. So that means that we've managed to move past that point.
Okay,
which means this.
Now. You don't have to worry about whatever that other timeline was. You don't even know if where you were is actually a place. It could have just been a manifestation of the grid.
Okay,
take a breath, sit down, and just from start to finish, take me through what happened.
I used my teleporting power, and then I fell. I fell a really long time, and then all of a sudden, I was in a different body. In a different place, in a different time. I don't know. That's what happened. I don't know how else to explain it to you, but I'm just worried about I'm just worried that what happened there could potentially still happen here. So I'm trying to figure out if it is at all a possibility that
You said
it
about
could
Psycho
happen.
Green. Why has the Psycho Green from there got you so freaked out about the one from here?
Matthew, I need a clarification. Was it that Psycho Green killed Peter and then took him over? Like, what was the deal there? Sorry, I'm just trying to remember because
That's okay. It's been a little while.
It has been a little while.
Psycho Green. So Peter claimed Psycho Green's dagger and defeated Psycho Green with it. And when he did, he took his place as the Psycho Green Ranger, absorbing his powers, and sort of the connection that Peter had with the Psycho Dagger and the grid was no longer sort of shared between them. It was then just all Peter, all the time.
It is
Okay. She just says, because you were Psycho Green. Okay, I looked at you, but it wasn't you.
Peter just kind of not know how to react to that. Like, well, that explains that then. That's not gonna happen here. You know that, right? Like, whatever this connection that me and him are sharing at the moment, it's insignificant at the moment for anything it's doing. Like, I don't feel anything coming from him at the moment, and yeah, so don't let the other timeline, if it was another timeline, again, it could have been just a manifestation of the grid. We don't know. Like you said, the blue emissary was trying to test you, so maybe it just threw things at you that it knew would affect you in some way.
I don't know. I'm not going to claim to understand why or what was happening. I just know that I saw what happened, and I know what I was told, and whether it was real or not, it was real to me. And if I don't want to ignore this in case it's some sort of warning, or
we won't ignore it, babe. Don't worry. First thing tomorrow, we will get on this. But right now, and people just kind of like shift her away from the board and plop her on her bed and be like, get some rest. I will stay with you, make sure nothing happens, okay?
Okay.
We can start this tomorrow. For now, you just need to rest.
Okay. She is just staring up at the ceiling right now, and it's just like, I'm gonna think restful thoughts.
He'll just scooch in next to her and just give her a little cuddle.
And Sunday, not the longest Sunday, for the record, not the longest Sunday, but one of the longest Sundays on record, has come to a close as the Rangers venture home or out onto the streets, whatever it is they wish to do with their evenings. And the next day gives us a return to college, a return to normalcy. Peter, do you remember to do the thing?
Do you remember?
Do you remember? Don't worry, don't worry. Pardon? Do I remember to do what?
The thing. We've even spoken about the thing during this episode so far.
I do not remember.
Would you like to spend a story point for a
Yes,
clue?
I would like to spend a story point for a clue.
Do you remember to take the stew into Claydoyer's Pete?
Ah, yes, of course.
You Dumbo.
Yes, of course.
So, Sophie's dead to the world. She's finally like exhausted
like,
herself to the point.
Slides his arm out from underneath.
So
And
for
roll.
the first time,
Oh.
he has intentionally just missed college altogether and is just sleeping it off because she's finally, because you said it would take a day for her to catch up.
She's
so
hit the wall.
Skip day, it's fine.
She's
Yep.
hit the
I'd like
wall
to
and
spend-
she's
yeah.
asleep.
I'd like
Yeah.
to spend a story point in the real world to buy English Michael a pack of post-it notes.
It's been a long day, okay?
You know, I might buy English Michael for his birthday one of
Wow.
those lovely player journals for the
Oh,
Power
right.
Rangers game. Yeah. So he can write all the notes down and everything else. Yep.
Will that journal just end up getting filled with drawings? Yes. Yes,
Probably.
it will.
If it supports the art department, I'm all for it.
But it'll still be interesting. But yes, college have returned for the Free Rangers who took a trip to space, who do go to college. For Cal, he returns to his job to find, but is just a little bit still out of it. Not quite as bad as he was. He's clearly spent a bit of time with Ernie. Things have kind of shaken out a bit. He does realize that you were gone, but he just kind of assumes that Ernie had okayed some time off. And he's honestly just glad you're back. You know, number one staff member. He appreciates Sarah, of course, but have you
Bring the
seen
shakes.
Cal make a shake or a smoothie?
Cal brings in the
That's
tourism.
fair.
Cal's
He
milkshake
does bring
brings
all of the
everybody
boys
to the
to
yard.
the yard.
To the bar.
Yeah, everybody. The day goes without disaster, without event. It's probably one of
Yet.
the calmest days the Rangers have had, at least in a week, which isn't really saying that much, all things considered. But I would imagine it's still a nice respite. And as the day goes on, Peter, your last class of the day is with Claydoyer's Pete, who, upon seeing you, gestures you to the front of the class, leans forward conspiratorially, and just, so, how was space?
To coin a friend of mine, spacious.
Yes.
He'll open his rucksack and hand him like a big tub.
You know, some
I've
people
got,
just
like,
can't
another
take
barrel
the
of this
heat,
stuff.
but personally, I find it just reminds me of home so much. Oh,
I've got another barrel of it. Like, so we'll talk. I'll get it to you.
fantastic.
So let's
You
talk
have got
grades.
you have got some work to catch up on, but I appreciate you
How many
maybe a
bowls
little
of
bit
stew
busy.
for-
Wink, wink. And as he says wink, wink, he tries to wink, but apparently at some point, nobody quite taught him that winking is just one eye, and instead he just goes wink, wink, with
Is he
both
a
eyes
bit like
closed.
the hippopotamus on the It's a Small World ride, where it's like,
Yep. Taps his nose.
Is this a thing like dogs can't look up, Claydoyans can't blink, wink at people?
I mean, this one's just not particularly adjusted to human life. even though he spent a few years here by this point. You
He's
know,
not
it's an
proficient in
adjustment.
winking.
And there's a lot of things to adjust to. A lot of different cultural shocks. But we did do the last laser experiment without you. I have to say,
is that necessarily a
oddly
bad
enough, the class was quite pleased.
thing? You know, someday you're going to have to own up to that original instant.
I gave you the A.
Okay.
It's not my fault. When they said laser, well, I didn't realize you humans used lasers more for pointing things. We used lasers more for
Explodey things. I know you
Phew.
explain.
yes. Live and learn. Live and learn.
Yeah, live and learn. I'm never going to live that down, dude.
But your engine experiment, you do need to get working on that again, remember. I do hear you've got some time with Immigrant Tech coming up. Please don't let it, ruin your studies too much.
If you know me by now, I can multitask.
Yes, but you also get a bit hyper-focused.
You're not wrong there.
You're not going to get a job with them if you don't graduate.
Well, there is my extracurricular activities that could kind of help me in that department as well, but I know where you're coming from.
Well, eventually, getting hit in the head a little bit too much is going to adversely impact your performance.
Yeah, there is that.
Sarah.
He'll kind of just lean in and like whisper into his ear. The helmet does help there.
Sarah, you have been spending the majority of the day preparing for the play.
Oh yeah.
Lots of rehearsal going on. How has it gone? And would you like to roll me a performance check?
I will do that, yeah. That's fine.
I was waiting for you to say no. It's like, no, I wouldn't. You do have an upshift.
No.
You
Hell
don't
no.
need an upshift.
Okay. I mean, let's see what it could be good. Let's find out. Or 1D. It's fine. Critical's
You're
one.
good.
Will it do it?
Yeah.
We got a nice critical 20. The performance is going fantastic.
Apparently,
Even whilst you've been in space, apparently Sarah has been studying her lines. Who knew she was such a professional?
she did. That's who. Look.
Kyle, on the other hand, who, whilst isn't
Kyle
in the play, isn't in the play, is nearby. He is helping with some of the music and just generally being a bit of a stagehand, trying to help out. He did have to call in a lot of favors to make that performance happen so quickly. And, well, the stage did get rather damaged when a motorbike went hurtling over it. So not only did he have to call in favors, but he then had to disappoint those he'd called in those favors with when he couldn't return everything in working order. The excuse of a giant wasp monster didn't really fly.
No, it did.
He forgot to file for the Power Rangers.
He did forget to file for the Power Rangers insurance. But he does keep kind of giving you furtive glances. He obviously hasn't seen you in a week. And he's a little bit concerned, perhaps, that you've been avoiding, ignoring him.
All right. Well, once rehearsal's over, I will check in.
Hey,
You've been staring at me
boss
for
lady.
like 3 hours. What's up?
Just haven't seen you since the concert. I obviously kind of ran rather quickly. Sorry about that. And was a little bit
I
little
mean,
bit
it
worried.
seems like the appropriate response when there's a giant wasp in the air.
Well, that's what I thought, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen you since, and I mean, I was a little bit concerned you weren't answering your phone.
Oh, rat. Sorry, I had to do something, and there was no service.
Wow, where did you go? Like Canada?
Definitely north. Yeah.
Huh.
Is everyone okay? Everyone get out? No one.
Yeah, everybody got out okay. A little few bumps and bruises, but nothing bad. Some of the equipment was a little trashed. We were thinking about doing some sort of charity show, trying to, you know, maybe see if we could make any
Yeah,
money back,
sure.
pay for some of the equipment, or pay for some replacements. But then, you know, it did get pointed out that we need the equipment to put on the show, to buy the equipment that we needed the money for, that we were putting on the show to
Well,
get. Does your head hurt?
Why do I
here's
taste
the thing.
copper?
Now, we can do a stripped down.
Whoa, boss
Do
lady.
it.
I mean,
No.
Hey,
not
yo!
that.
just that one calendar
No, like
appearance,
unplugged.
but like,
Look. Not actual stripping. Listen. There's that group. I can't remember what they're called. They play the buckets and things.
Stamp.
We do that.
okay, yeah.
Stamp. Yes. Thank you, voice
Thank
in
you,
my hat.
pigeon.
We do something like that.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's better than the alternative. That calendar shoot was... Honestly, I've never even seen the calendar for sale.
Hold on. You posed for a calendar and you've never seen the calendar?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But yeah,
Oh, sweet boy.
I'm sure it's coming out any day now. Yeah. Calendars do come out like end of the month.
Yep, don't-
You know, not before the
At
year
least once a
starts,
year. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Good luck with that.
I might need to make a new pyramid.
I think, yeah.
Appointment.
Charity drive would be.
Whew.
Yeah. I think we should talk to the dance squad. Get them in on this too.
Yeah, and that guy, you know, the guy likes to wear red.
That guy.
Yeah, that
you.
Who's
That
that guy?
Where did
Q,
he come
yeah,
from?
that guy.
Who's that Pokemon?
He did a good
Q's
show.
that Pokemon.
Great choreography.
Yeah, no, Q's are very good. Absolutely, yeah. He made me look very.
So much red though. Huh.
Some sort of bias going on. I'm sure it's fine. No big deal.
Yeah, he must be in the dorm. You know, they like to sell
We all have our-
themed colors.
Oh, I've noticed. Yeah, it's very
Hey,
colorful here
boss lady.
with only like 5 colors.
Do you
Yeah, what's up?
do you think the Power Rangers could go here? I mean, we'd never know.
Go to college?
Well, like, they'd already be wearing the colors.
Do you think they have time for that when they're so busy saving? Like, what Power Ranger would have time for school? Like, they're busy saving the world or whatever, I'm sure. Like, college is 3 full-time jobs by itself.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Makes sense. Yeah,
Who'd have time for that?
that's good shot, boss lady. Yeah. Okay, I'll speak to the rest of the.
Yeah.
I'll speak to the rest of the band.
Maybe, Yeah.
When do you want to do?
yeah, we'll
When do you want to do the gig? I don't want to overstep again.
Yeah, no.
I learned.
I mean, probably sooner rather than later. We're gonna need things. How soon do you think we can get ready?
I mean, I managed to put a gig on in like a weekend. Say end a week.
Yeah,
I'll speak
Yeah.
to
I can do that.
Q.
As long as yeah, you should definitely talk to Q. Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, Kyle wanders off, pulls his phone out of his pocket, and sends a message. And Q gets what must have been a queue, of messages that Kyle had sent. That this latest had just knocked out of wherever they had been waiting, because instead of one ping, Q's phone pings 47 times in the past week. Kyle apparently had tried to get a hold of him, apologized for trying to get a hold of him, tried to make a coffee date, asked him what his favorite color was, thanked him for the
Oh,
choreography,
sweet boy.
asked him if he liked flowers, pointed out that he liked plants because flowers were kind of sad.
What is this guy?
So,
So just going back to the top of the session where Cal was saying, just get a boyfriend. This is why gays can't just get a boyfriend.
That sounds like a skill issue, if you ask me. That sounds
It's
like,
one walks in, and then 20 minutes later, all of their red flags catch up with them. They're like a walking ski slalom. You know,
Look,
they're
all
at
I'm
the bottom
saying
and all the
is-
flags appear.
After the
all I'm
last
saying
message,
is, if you forcefully make yourself colorblind, you'll never see a red flag again.
after the
I don't
latest
think I've ever
message,
seen a red flag.
you get another one that's just, how do you feel about cats? Not the show. I've been thinking about adopting.
What is this guy?
Is he texting it? Is he doing this in front of me?
As he walks
Can I
away,
see the like row of messages?
You just hear boom, 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 boom of sent messages.
Slow down. Jeez.
he's like, what? And then walks into somebody carrying part of the set out because he's turned around to look at you. He's like, oh, wow. Yeah, slow down. Sorry, guys. Important business. Apologies. Yep.
I meant
Don't text and walk.
oh,
Man, it's like chewing gum. Shouldn't do that either while you're
oh,
walking.
funny.
Yep.
Oh,
Cue.
dear.
Yeah.
The day's been pretty good.
How do?
I mean, you have had, you know, a little bit of fun in your classes, a little bit of frustration as well, because your favorite person ever has also been there.
Doesn't
And of
he have
course-
a job?
Of course, the new cheer coach has been checking out everybody's schedules, making sure that they're not doing anything too laborious before their cheer practice tomorrow, making sure that
Right. I have to
everybody's
check practice
behaving
that night.
themselves and just kind of checking in, really, learning the lay of the land. And then you get 50 odd messages from Kyle all together.
More coming.
Two-part question. Where are you when you get the messages? And what is your reaction?
Where? What time is it when they start coming through?
We're going to say about 3 o'clock.
Oh, I don't know. Am I in class? Have classes finished by 3 o'clock?
I'm asking you.
I'm in class. My phone would be on silent, and I notice it buzz, and then again, and then again, and then again.
And then so does the rest of the class, as they'll just look over like,
Eventually, it's just.
If his phone was on a table, and I'm not sure if it was, it can be just with the just everybody watches it as it dances its way to the edge, and then just goes conk. I probably need to turn it off and on again. And he just ignores. No, actually, he'll have turned it to see that it's not an emergency, and he's like, there's some kind of Power Ranger emergency happening, and as he just sees Kyle, and then it starts stacking the notifications. He's just like, "Let's turn that off, I think."
are you dying? No.
Yeah,
You-
so he just turns his phone off. That's his reaction.
That's fair. I can't say as I particularly blame you, if I'm honest.
Poor guy.
Well, that can wait.
At least while you're in class, yeah.
Shout out to Kyle for fumbling the bag.
Yeah.
Kyle rolled a fumble on his persuasion romance skill check.
Wait, dead ass fumble?
Yep.
Oh no!
I mean, he's just sent 50 odd messages. I can only say this is a fumble personally. If I
I
got
would be-
50 odd messages, I'd be pretty concerned. Even if 47 of them were across the space of a week.
I would be so elated.
No messages responded to. Here's some more.
Yeah.
I'd be so elated if any of my friends contacted me that often, let alone someone who I was interested in romantically. Like I said, if you just don't see the color red, you'll never see a red
Don't look
flag.
at the flags.
I mean, it's if you just look at it as bunting rather than warning flags.
It's just decoration.
He's surrounded by streamers. It's great.
He's like a walking parade.
Everywhere's a party.
I mean,
I can't.
let's face it, as far as first dates go, it was bad.
It wasn't great.
Yeah, it was bad.
Not because of Kyle.
No, I'm fairly certain it was because of Kyle.
I mean, it's not his fault there was a giant wasp monster.
No, but why was there a concert in the first place?
Because he asked you on a date.
So technically it's your fault.
Quid pro quo.
And that is how gaslighting works.
Again with
Oh.
the flags.
As your class ends,
Today on
your
Power Rangers, gaslight.
phone buzzes one more time. This time, however, it's not Kyle. The question here is,
It's evil.
Kyle
does it
is
come
evil,
up
Kyle.
as Aggie, or does it come up as mother or
It
mum?
would come up as mum.
Mum. She has sent you a message that says that she's gone down to the beach. Dad's going to be joining you guys in about 45 minutes. He's just finishing up some stuff, not at work, but in the local community. But they're getting ready for the Hungry Harbour Master Day. And that she'd really love for you to join them.
How far away are we from the beach?
You guys in
Oh no, it's fine. I've got a car. Duh.
Oh, but do you?
I think by now it has been
you
returned.
have a communal car. Is Sarah using it?
Damn it, Sarah.
I'm sorry, but that was priceless.
I had a car. If I had a hammer.
That's yeah. So you're going to drive the
Yes,
old-fashioned
he was
way?
going to drive. Mm-hmm.
Do you, just out of curiosity, do you let anybody know where you're going or anything, or just head straight there?
No. I'll finish college and then head there.
You find your mum is in a small group of people. There's about 10, half of which are other parents the other half are children, roughly sort of 8, 9 years old. The parents are watching as the kids are roaming the beach, always within. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, just to retcon something, I go back to my room, I get changed, and then I go.
Okay. What do you get changed into?
Leviathan!
Definitely not red.
I get changed into an unusual color combination for Q. So he gets more into, he's in a pair of like kind of tanny knee-length shorts, kind of like a navy and white striped t-shirt. He still has red trainers and a red hat on, but there's definitely a lot more kind of navy and white kind of about his outfit, which is most unusual for him.
As he goes about his day, the navy just turns more and more into red.
It just,
Huh.
you could say it morphs.
Or
Don't you do
Michael's favourite
it.
word,
Don't you do it.
it converts.
We do not use that terminology here.
You
As I
shall
was
not
saying,
pass.
You head to the beach. These parents are watching. Always, at least 2 or 3 of the parents are keeping the kids in eyesight. How they're doing it is whether or not they're like able to mentally communicate or whether or not they've planned this in advance, but it's almost like the parents are talking, and every now and again 1 or 2 of them will shift. Like one will turn around, and one of the ones that was watching the kids will turn at exactly the same time to join in the conversation. But there's always people watching the kids. Like, they are not letting them out of their sight.
Fun fact,
But-
I have actually taken like school kids on a trip to the beach before. That's what I did as a work experience student back when I was what, 15, 16. I assisted at the primary school that I grew up at in our small village, and one of the days was we had a day trip out to Bridlington. So we went to the beach, and I was given a small number of children to look after on my own with no supervision. That's the kind of community I grew up in, ladies and gentlemen. Like, then it was sports day, and I walked an entire group of 30 odd, like 6-year-olds through the village down to the recreation ground on my own.
That would not fly nowadays.
No, it wouldn't. But yeah, that's the village I grew up in.
The kids are collecting driftwood.
Okay.
The youngest are gathering what amounts to branches, like small twigs.
Is it like dogs? They find the biggest thing possible and then they're dragging it across.
The biggest kids are grabbing the biggest pieces of driftwood they can, to the point where several of them are even having to kind of like pull it at the same point. They're not carrying it so much as dragging it up the beach. And where the cars are parked is a small pile of driftwood already gathered. Your mum is in the center of the group. It doesn't seem to be intentional, just that the others have kind of put her there. And she's talking to them, directing them, gesturing towards the different areas of the beach where she is stating things are going to be set up. The various stalls, the food tents, all of the different fish-related foodstuffs that they will be serving One of the parents, she does point out that they still need some fishing rods, because what would the Hungry Harbour Master Day be without the kids having an opportunity to try and catch their supper? Because, of course, they're not going to feed the kids anything that they manage to catch this close to the beach. But that's beside the point. They don't need to know that. And as you walk towards the group, your mum instantly turns as if she knows you were there and beams as she looks up at you, turns back to the rest of the parents and sort of shoos them away. And they instantly scatter off to make phone calls and help gather some of the wood. Mercutio, you and I perhaps need to have a little bit of a conversation about secrets we keep from our parents and secrets we do not.
Well, if we did not, then they wouldn't be secrets.
You were always a very clever boy. But this is not time for clever boys.
This is probably not the space for this conversation. But I think you already know the answers to the questions that you want to ask.
Oh, no, no questions.
Just answer.
Well, by this point, you know that I have additional hobbies that you were unaware of. And it is not something that I necessarily chose, but it chose me. With that comes, I would say, a whole bunch of rules, but actually there's not many. But one of them is in keeping said extracurricular pastime from being public knowledge for a number of reasons, which I'm sure you can work out. Principle of which being trying to keep those closest to me as far out of harm's reach as possible. But yeah, so it's a thing that chose me that I'm actually quite good at.
Oh,
and I'm not doing it
very
alone.
good.
And, you know, it gets complicated and it can be hard. And it comes with a lot of responsibility that I don't think I would ever have been ready for or would have asked for. But I'm with a very good team of people who I can trust with my life, who trust me with theirs. And yeah. And then he goes to whisper to her, and I've been to space twice and it's freaking awesome.
She reaches up a little bit and pats you on the cheek. This is not the environment for any sort of high heels or anything but really flat shoes and trainers. So there's a little bit of a size difference. And she sort of leans in for a hug.
Q would probably, at this point, give her a bit of a twirl under an arm and then into a hug.
And she just whispers in his ear. We are both very proud of you. Responsibility should not be taken by those who would be eager to take it. And you have always been a very, very good son. But you must take me to space when you can.
No, absolutely not. Never going to happen.
But to dance in anti-gravity
Nope.
with no,
Not going to happen.
I feel like
without
that's a
Earth
line from
pulling me
something.
down.
I feel like that's from something.
My son, if you do not, I will make your father take me.
You should be grounded.
Yeah, the thought of him in space. That's even funnier than the thought of you in space.
I shall dance amongst the stars.
With drops of
Okay.
Jupiter in your hair.
But we have much, much to do before we are ready for the festival later this week. When you were little, you tried to drag great big lengths of driftwood like these children. You are big now and strong like Ranger.
He just scowls. When you speak like that, you sound like a villain.
Perhaps I have an evil arc.
Sure thing.
That's
mom
what they
would
say
read
at my book club.
He just goes there and pats her on the head.
Secretly, his mother is Rita.
But strong and fast still, my son. I will race you.
To where?
Look at all of this debris. We have our own harbor master to build. And
Cool.
she tries, perhaps not the most successfully, but she tries to shove Q with her 13 in brawn.
Is this contested? Do I have to roll against her?
Go for it.
Where's my
Unless you
character
want
sheet?
to
Hang on.
just roll with it.
We're trying to push me and falling
rest.
over. I actually only have a D2 in brawn, so you know. Okay, no, I just go with it.
And as soon as she does, she turns and sprints with these long, like 6-7 foot strides that are more miniature dancing leaps, jetés, than they are anything else, as she makes her way towards the ocean and the driftwood that has gathered there.
Cool. Yeah. So Q will either help the kids with the driftwood in a fun and interactive, amusing adult, not quite an adult way, and will help oversee the construction of the beacon, the fire.
Disaster strikes.
No disaster.
Yet.
No slippery
disaster.
sharks.
Whoa, people. I said no fighting.
God, I will claim another mother.
Whoa.
How that got dark. How
That got very
Michael.
dark. And I'd like to point out I didn't say that.
You see,
Goldar's got a chalkboard just saying Brothers murdered.
Column
Marks on it.
Brothers Goldar 01. Yeah.
Dude, he's got it in the bag. He's looking good this season.
Sophie's mom's safe in Mariner Bay, right?
Have you checked in on her recently?
This week, Goldar versus Mom.
I sent text messages.
This week on Power Rangers Deathmatch, Goldar versus Mom.
Like where the stats are lined up, all of Goldar's are serious, but then you go to the mom side and it's just like loves you, will care for and support you.
Chair of PTA, yeah. Experienced in boo-boo management.
Makes a great peach cobbler.
It's just a bunch of stereotypical, like, this is a good mom thing.
The battle does not go the way people expect, and with unconditional love, she softens Goldar's heart. And he just becomes a good guy.
No,
Q's new
Karen
stepbrother
on him and turns him into the housemaid, like in the series.
Sophie's mom's a little mean.
You will put that sword down this instant, young monkey. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sophie,
Sorry, Mrs. Q.
You've had a bit of a long nap.
I've been sleeping for 12 hours.
Just a long nap.
Just a real long nap. Okay.
Yeah.
What happens when I wake up?
Well, you see, you wake up and you're tired.
I mean, you are still
You
tired.
wake up, oh!
I look up at the ceiling and go, what time is it? Did I miss school?
You have definitely missed college. 100%.
Yep. It is the first time she's missed classes, like intentionally non-ranger related, just want to sleep. So yeah. Yeah, okay, so she's gonna go into the lab. Well, she's gonna ask Alpha for help with her project in the lab instead of trying to go into the outside world. And try to put together a simulation based on her memories. That's what she's gonna do. So what time is it roughly? Like mid-afternoon, late afternoon?
When you wake up, it's approaching evening. So about 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, that tracks.
She has slept a whole lot of the day.
Lots of sleeping. So she kind of approaches Alpha to ask for his assistance in the lab, and then that's what she'll do in the evening. Order a pizza. Put it on Peter's credit card. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding about that last part.
I was going to say, before you said she went to the lab, I was going to interject and say she'd wake with a little note just saying like didn't want to wake you, with just a plate that's covered up, but it's dinner for her.
Oh, that's sweet. I take the dinner to the lab. Workaholic Sophie activated. What did he leave? What did he leave?
I can't remember what you said Sophie's favorite food was, but Sophie's favorite food.
It's sweet and sour chicken, probably Chinese takeaway.
Chicken to China, the Chinese chicken.
Okay, so she also really likes pasta, fettuccine alfredo, one of those things. Anyway, bowl of pasta. Workaholic Sophie, activate. So yeah, we did determine that she remembers enough to do the thing, right?
She remembers everything, but she has enough details to pull together the simulation that she wants. Working with Alpha, she's able to start on the simulation. You can roll me a difficult, which is a difficulty
Like a-
30 check
Yep.
to see if you can get it done today. The difficulty with alpha will go down every day by 5.
Okay.
So
Sweet.
tomorrow it'll be
So
25, 20.
because it's a new day and she slept most of it, she has all of her idea points. So I'm
Yep.
gonna spend one of those to roll with an edge. Is it grid tech?
It is grid tech, and you have an upshift from the chat from the lovely Soulful Sapphic,
Thanks,
which I
Al.
hopefully
So
pronounced right. English
right,
is
and then my
first language,
my
but
grid
I'm terrible.
I can use idea points like double edge, do the upshift.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Okay, that's promising. That is that's a 17.
So you're able to make some progress today, but it is going to take further work between the two of you to get it all up and running so that you
That's
can
totally
interact
fine.
with it and potentially have a lovely encounter with Psycho Green at some point during the week.
Look, that guy is not Peter. Okay? Totally ready for some violence in this
Yeah, this
simulation.
guy-
Let's go.
I mean,
He
This guy's
doesn't
technically-
count.
unrelated. We're gonna beat
Technically,
his-
that guy is Peter. This guy
No, she's a,
isn't Peter.
no, the guy in the simulation is not Peter. Listen, we are not. This is not up for debate. She's just
we're
working
gonna
on it.
beat his ass. We're just gonna beat him up real fast.
She's going to take some frustration out.
Look, man, learn how to fight a demon. Learn how to fight a psycho ranger. It's fine. It's all simulated.
It's all violence.
Violence is
Look.
violence.
We are entering a new era of Sophie. Well,
Feral
let's
era
go.
Sophie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sophie era, evolved violence.
Hugh,
It's just that extra amount of violence. Anyway.
a few minutes after your mum predicted, your father walks onto the beach in the weirdest fashion you have ever seen, in more ways than one. His shirt is unbuttoned, a couple of buttons. His sleeves are rolled up past his elbows. There's no jacket or lab coat in sight. He has no shoes or socks on. His trousers are rolled up to his knees. He's not dressed for the beach, but he's improvised. And with him are about 30 others from the local community, from the same lovely town as yourselves, who have set up shop in Angel Grove. They're carrying food, drinks, chairs, blankets, because it is getting a little bit later now. And whilst the pile of driftwood is definitely bigger, you know from your own experiences that by the end of the week and by the time the festival draws to a close, it is going to be 3 or 4 times bigger than that, fashioned into an effigy that will be burned. There is still a lot to do, and this is just the first night for the community to gather around as a community, as a family, and just kind of have that time together. He approaches you, looks at your mum, and then puts a blanket down, grabs a couple of burgers, not fish, just for the record, and takes a seat,
Filet fish.
gesturing for you to grab drinks from nearby and for you both to join him.
Cool, yeah. So I'll grab some non-alcoholic beverages. And yeah, go and sit on the picnic blanket.
Picnic blanket.
Q looks at his dad and goes, I see you have tried to beach wear.
I have in fact tried to beachwear. Do you know I own no shorts?
I would feign acting surprise, but my acting has never been my strong suit. He says with a laugh.
I think perhaps over the years I have spent far too much time in the office.
Q would like to insight check his father.
Difficulty is 5.
I could still fail this. But I don't. That's a 17. I think that's the highest I've rolled all evening.
He seems like your father. He looks like your father. He's not talking like your father. Like the voice, yes. The mannerisms, yes.
Yeah.
The words that are coming out of his mouth. Who is this man and what did he do with your father? But yet, you are confident that he is, in fact, your dad.
Is this the start of your midlife crisis? Are you going to buy a sports car?
I could build a sports car.
No. Please don't.
He's sort of thoughtful for a moment and then, Aggie, make a note. Project Turbo.
Q just kind of
Jody,
rubs his
take this
temples and goes, okay, when we're not at work, we don't
I tried. Look, I did the beachwear,
to other
I got
people
the
like
burgers, and just... I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just park the work thing at, you know where the road meets
Yes.
the
Yes.
sand. Yeah,
Yes.
that's where that stays.
I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
It is a process.
Hugh shoots his mother a look as if to say,
Yes. We will park that idea. See, I can
Now we
too
know I can
make
get
puns.
Throw your dad, dude.
But
guys,
has
we're all
your
getting
mother
cars
told
for
you
Christmas.
her idea about dancing amongst the stars?
Yes, no.
That is what I told her. Do you think I wished for her to be going flying?
She was more concerned about you going into space, which is a mental image?
Well, I plan no trip, but I do have some projects that are supposed to be taking place
Who's
on
soaring?
the ship. That's what I was just thinking. Who's playing with a zip?
Oh, I'm scratching the thing that connects my mic to my headset with my nail.
It sounded like
Yeah.
There's somebody
Yeah.
on the beach cutting up some driftwood.
Like
You turn
sense.
to the
You
left
know,
and you
they're
see Cal doing
shaping it up.
carpentry on the beach.
Yeah.
Cal,
sorry.
too, of course, being the community helper that he is, being such a big
Yeah.
part of the community, is aware of this festival and is actually
I'm there,
down
dude.
at the beach helping with the driftwood. And you do see
Yep.
him cutting some of the bigger bits down into size.
We
Because
commit to the bit.
Yep. But yes, I will have to make a very small trip when the rocket goes up, but I will be coming straight back down.
Hopefully not straight back down.
Not immediately back down.
Controlled
there will-
descent.
Very
Yeah.
controlled descent. Very controlled.
Good.
Yes, we have been very careful with all of the planning, all of the scheduling. We have everything under control. There was some conversation about rapid unscheduled disassembly.
Disassembly?
But
Yeah, I was waiting for that to appear in this conversation.
We don't plan on anything like that.
There's no disassembly of any sort, rapid or steady.
Scheduled or unscheduled.
Mm.
So, small trip to space, no dancing. And he looks over at Aggie with a disapproving glance. And straight back home for dinner.
My father is Sheldon Cooper, isn't he? Q says, you could always spend some of your time inventing some kind of anti-grav environment. Like a small room, or at least some kind of anti-grav / maglev based technology that you could put into footwear that would allow the pair of you to dance without the incumbency of gravity.
Son, this is an excellent idea. This would be fantastic, and I could get funding. We base it on rehabilitation and training for future astronauts.
And maybe people who need some kind of exoskeletal support, maybe, who are struggling, post-injury or...
Are you sure you do not want an internship over at
I am
Emigrant
certain
Tech?
I do not want an internship at Grid Tech. At Grid Tech? At Emigrant.
Do you have fantastic ideas? Perhaps we can partner you up with your friend. You have the ideas and make sure he doesn't touch anything too lasery.
Yeah. 1, I'm not his babysitter. 2, I like my eyebrows just how they are, thank you.
I require no babysitter, and I sacrifice my own eyebrows for the people I care about.
This
Your eyebrows would be
is
safe, dear boy.
fair and understandable.
Q does say to his dad whilst thinking about Pete and his eyebrows, could you create some kind of eyebrow shield?
Specifically for
Pete
the
has looked
eyebrows.
into this. It does not work.
No,
Yeah,
but for the
yeah. It's just
entire
like
face.
there's safety goggles for your eyes, but no, just specifically in time for Christmas. Could one of your lab techs invent some eyebrow shields?
In time for Christmas?
Laser-proof eyebrow shields. Yeah.
In time for Christmas, almost certainly. We have many months ahead of us.
Fantastic, thank you.
But I just want to check you will be here Friday for the end of the celebrations?
Pending any kind of natural disaster that might stop it. Yeah.
We do have friends in Mariner Bay. And the way your father says friends, he kind of leans and says, friends in Mariner Bay.
You know
who are
how
very
2
good
minutes
at
ago
natural
you just said
disasters.
that?
Oh,
You
sorry,
know how you acknowledged
preventing.
my mental ability?
Yes.
Like you, parents, subtlety, tact, and diplomacy. Yes, I know who you mean.
So Friday.
Pending disasters Friday.
Fantastic. Perhaps you will light the fire.
Yeah, we'll see.
I do not say enough, and I apologize, but I am very proud of who you have become and what you do.
Q not really knowing how to process that is just kind of distracted looking out to sea. And after a pause, just goes, uh-huh. And then carries on looking out to sea.
Cal's on a boat deep sea fishing. You see him there.
He's just like, bass!
He's got the whole harness like racked on, like with the pole that's like 10 feet tall.
Cal's super invested
Living his
in
best
the
life.
story of the Hungry
Hungry
Harbour
Harbour
Master Day, and he doesn't want to be the Hungry Harbour Master for reasons that shall become clear, but he does like the fishing aspect and providing food for the local community.
Is he sitting on a strange boat that looks oddly like a motorcycle?
No.
That's
Why
crazy.
would I be doing that?
Yeah,
And
why
is
would
he
it
gonna
look
need a
oddly
bigger
like a
boat?
motorcycle?
Jay, if
Does it look
A boater
a
cycle.
Jay,
motorcycle that's converted into a boat?
no.
We don't use that word.
Don't use the
But
C word.
Trust me, if we do need a bigger boat, I am the bigger boat. I can fight that shark myself. No bigger boat necessary.
And on that lovely note between father and son and Yellow Ranger, we will end the episode there. I would like to start in with Peter / Michael and making our way through the same order as the morphing order. Just ask the usual question. Favorite moment for you? Favorite moment for another character? Go.
Peter growing some stones and actually having a conversation. That would probably be mine. For someone else, yes. Again, he seems to get my vote most episodes, to be fair. But Michael, when you ate when Sophie Sarah even ate the stew for Claydoyus like I thought you were actually having a little bit of a choking fit at one point. That's how convincing it was. So yeah, that takes that spot.
Anne.
I really, really enjoy how I don't even know how to explain it. I just really enjoy the interaction Q was having with his parents because he was like, I don't know how to take this. Oh my gosh, what? Why, parents? Why are you like this? Also,
Positive.
Why are you being so
reinforcement.
supportive?
trying to have a conversation while not trying to have it in, because they're in public.
The word around words. Yeah.
But also there were points where I was like, I don't feel comfortable listening to this as a person. This is a private conversation.
This is a private conversation. Go somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, and Peter having that conversation with Sophie and like talking her down. That was really cool. He wasn't morphed, was he?
No.
Just in case.
Always.
Always
no.
more.
His helmet on.
First unmorphed conversation. And also, as weird as this sounds, Sophie actually getting some sleep, just like uninterrupted sleep, and that's.
I mean, I
really
don't
good
know
for
what
her.
that is. I have no point of reference for the concept of uninterrupted
I mean, to be
sleep.
fair, I don't sleep more than like 6 hours these days. But like, just because Sophia's like that workaholic and just like, I mean, it took a trip into the grid to like force her to sleep, but like passed out for 12 hours. That's great. Good for her. I love that for her. Also,
Just some light kidnapping and you'll be tired.
look,
Abducting.
it's not kidnapping, it's an abduction.
It's an educational
Not the same
experience.
thing.
It's an abduction
Look.
without probing.
So yeah. And the
We
immediate
don't know they're working.
what's the first
I
thing
don't
Sophie
trust
does
the
when she
limit
wakes
there.
up? Goes to work. Like a workaholic. Anyway, that's it for me.
Panic. If you don't take the
Um,
Decepticon motorbike, I am going to be
Yeah, no, Cal's
very unhappy.
best Cal scene was for sure Decepticon motorbike. That was so cash. Like, what do you want? That shit was cool as fuck.
That's okay then.
Yeah, no, that's my obvious pick. Favorite scene for someone else. The conversation between Peter and Sophie was really good. Peter not like making any jokes or something, but actively being like a good support person. Big character growth moments. Yeah, good times.
Yep. Which brings us to Michael/Sarah.
Well, for me, it was the stew, obviously. I biffed that. And for someone else, that on cue, like parents was great, but spacious.
Predictable, if nothing else.
I thought Matthew was gonna murder your
commit.
character right there.
Rocks fall, Q dies. Yeah.
Matt just hangs up the call, stream over, like
Just like, I'm done.
Booted from the
Episode
call,
recapped.
booted from the Discord, no contact, full break off.
47 messages later, and he's like,
oh, sweet Kyle, oh, sweet boy. Oh,
No such thing as a red flag, everybody.
That
I don't,
brings
why
us.
is a red flag a bad thing? What's the bad about being red?
That brings us nicely to Jay.
Tricky for Q, because interestingly, I've been thinking, oh, we've not actually done anything about or with Kyle. What should I do about that situation? And 47 text messages is just like the only reaction that I think any rational human being would have is like, I'm just going to leave that for a bit. Maybe change my number. Maybe that's the solution.
I said it in chat. Time for a new number, Q.
Yep. Time for a burner phone. For somebody else, it's probably a tie between the molten lava soup and the Decepticon.
I also totally forgot to give Sunday dinner a shout out. Sophie trying not to have a meltdown, but also like, this is what's up. Everything's fine, but also
Everything's
not
fine. Everything's good.
Everything's not okay, but
Everything
I'm trying
is
to be okay.
awesome.
I spent half of this stream thinking that is it My Chemical Romance song, I'm Not Okay?
Bro,
no, really.
I can give you 5 different bands that have that song title.
Right, so it was just kind of trying to relay information, but trying to like also pretend like she's okay.
But not actually tell us anything.
I also love the aside Sarah and the others have after she leaves the room. She's not okay.
Not good.
She's not okay.
She's not okay. It's like, okay, night. She's not okay. Girl, she needs an intervention.
It's like, bye, see you tomorrow. That bitch is crazy.
She's cracked.
And
I'm gonna quietly separate her from her Pete, get get the thingy ready because we might need to disconnect Sophie from her powers just for a little while so that she can.
Followed immediately by everyone fucking off so that the boyfriend could go to his girlfriend at some point. We all just like vacated. Like, well,
I have fun with that. She's broken. See you tomorrow.
Right, Peter, this is all on you. I have to leave.
This is your problem now, buddy.
back to space. And
Look.
speaking of space, on the moon, in a lovely chamber, deep, deep down in the dark and twisted parts of the palace that Rito has claimed as his own. Rita watches as Psycho Green rages, smashing things to pieces. Posts that are just torn asunder beneath his blows. Work surfaces that are cracked into, thrown across the room as if they were nothing but feathers in his grip. Because in her hand is his dagger. And as intimidating as he may be, she is not giving it back.
Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. On God, I hate this bitch.
Floating in the middle of the room is now the staff of the Wizard of the Sands. The Psycho Dagger joining it. The coin of the White Ranger. And in the middle of all of this is a large collection of multifaceted prisms, all growing out of the same rock, colors flashing out of it in a rainbow effect. Goodbye, everybody, and may the power protect you.
That shut us up.
Intergalactic
That's
jailbreak arc when?
or 6.